Alright. Yeah, last week probably wasn't so hot for recordings because I've been busy with final this week, but it's finally done. Here we are. And here we're playing yet another new strategy game. I swear this isn't intended to be a strategy channel, it just happens I like a lot of strategy games. Who knows, there's a decent chance at some point I'll play fighting games on the channel or something like that. But anyways, I wanted to play Total War Medieval 2 partway just because it's a fantastic game, but also because there is an old friend of mine by the name of Mike who has been on the podcast before. If you watch the podcast, then you'll have seen him in episode 100, the fucking 9-hour special that it was. And I believe that he might be inclined to like the Total War series, or at least some of the entries in it. But I think he's a little too scared of the prospect of getting in on a strategy game series that he believes to be quite advanced, when I don't believe it to be really that advanced. If it was that advanced, I probably wouldn't be very good at it. I'm alright at Total War. I would say that within the last 3 years, I was finally talked into picking up Total War Warhammer 2 by my friend Soon about 2 years ago. Soon's also on the podcast. And that really started my appreciation of the Total War series. And so I retroactively picked up a lot of the classics, including Medieval 2. And Medieval 2 is, I'd say, one of the best ones and one of the most fun ones. Perhaps not the most accessible. The later ones are certainly more accessible. But Medieval 2 is a classic, and if you can get past some of the yield and jank things, then it's a pretty fantastic game. Now, I should mention, I've put in, 70 turns into an English campaign, 50 turns into a Spanish campaign, and I want to say, 30 turns into a Russian campaign before. So I've hit most of the major Europe general areas. I guess I've not really done Southeastern Europe. But I've never played as a Muslim faction before, so that's what I'll be doing today to keep it fun for myself. Come to think of it, I might need to lower the audio on this. Alright. We will be skipping the intro cutscene here, because it's Total War intro cutscenes, who really fucking cares? I'm not here for that. Us playing as the Moors means we're far on the western side of the map, which is important because the other two Muslim nations in the game are the Turks and Egypt, both of whom start on the eastern side of the map. That's problematic because whoever's on the eastern side of the map, and that includes Russia and the Byzantines and eventually the Polish and Hungarians, will have to deal with the Mongols and the Timurids whenever they arrive, and they will just tear their assholes wide open. It's the nice thing about the Moors that they start on the west side of the map, and they really only have to deal with Spain and Portugal to start with, and maybe a particularly assholish Sicily or France. Now, our victory conditions here are to hold 45 regions, that means 45 towns, including Jerusalem, which is way the fuck over here, and Toledo, which I want to say is the capital of Spain, one of these two provinces. So one of those victory conditions is a little easier than the others. I've not played the Muslims before. They tend to have a considerably different military structure from the Christian nations, or at least the Western nations. Alright, let's start it up. Skip that shit! You fuck off. Yeah, look, this is the problem with the Timurids. This is why I'm glad to be spawning in the western side of the map. Because if I had to deal with the Timurids, I'd have to deal with elephants. Now, the graphics on old Total War Medieval 2 aren't fantastic. They're pretty good for their time. I mean, this was 2006, I believe. About a year after Resident Evil 4, and it looks about as good as Resident Evil 4 did. Now, I'm not exactly sure what we want our first objective to be. My understanding is that it's pretty easy to take some of the Central African provinces, but at the same time, Spain needs to be nipped in the bud before they can really get much stronger. So, I'm going to try and talk a bit for people who have never played a Total War game before. Total War, in campaign, there is the campaign map, which is what you see now. It's kind of a Risk-style map. The world is divided up into regions. Like, see, this is the Marrakesh region, which is kind of this general area. And every region has a city or just small town that is relevant to it. If you take that city or small town, you own the region, you get to build onto it and get a variety of benefits from it. Like, for instance, let's see what's built into Marrakesh. Marrakesh only has a wooden wall to keep out invaders that try to take the city itself, and it has a town guard. Now, let's see, what does town guard do? Town guard increases public order, which is important. If your public order drops too low, then you'll have a rebellion start, which is obviously quite bad. You have to divert an army to go put it down. The town guard also allows you to purchase units of spear militia and town militia, both of which are pretty shitty units. But given that this is the medieval era, and we've just started, that's alright. And I don't think the Muslim armies tend to have very strong frontline infantry to begin with, so I'll take what I can get. Let's take a look at another city. Let's see, Granada. Granada has stables, which allows me to purchase horses. And a wooden castle, which is slightly better than just a wooden wall, but not by much. Here we go. Alright, Cordoba. Cordoba has a masjid, I assume that's how you pronounce that, which is I guess it's basically a small chapel. It increases public order, and it starts to convert the population, which is really important for our settlements in Spain because they're still going to be a lot Catholic. It also allows me to recruit imams. Imams are units that are on the map, on the campaign map, cannot participate in battles because, I mean, obviously it's just a simple imam. Like, what's it gonna do? Yeah, go ahead and quote the, just start quoting religious texts at that oncoming, night and hope that he'll be convinced not to hurt you. The real purpose of imams is on the campaign map. I can send this guy with a nice right click to go, and for one thing, I can send him to explore the entirety of Spain if I want to. But I can send him into Catholic regions, and what he will do is, you see, when I mouse over a region, it will tell me what the religious demographics of that region are. If a region is not of the right religion, and I own that region, then it will cause public order problems unless I have certain traits. This is 65% Islam in the Cordoba region. Could be better, but it's not that bad. Whereas, let's see, it's 35% Islam over here. So if I conquer this region, I'm going to need to have the imam sit in that territory and start converting the people. Let's see what else is in Cordoba. Let's look at this city. Got a stone wall, a town guard, a grain exchange, which increases tradable goods. I don't know what that does because I'm not as big of an expert on Medieval 2 as I am on Warhammer 2. But I believe that just increases the amount of money we get from trade, which is good. We can trade between our own cities, and we can also trade with foreign cities if we set up trade deals. It also allows me to recruit merchants, which allows me to exploit natural resources. Roads, which for one thing boost trade money, for another thing I believe increase the travel speed of armies in the region. And let's see, the town hall, which increases public order bonus, and increases public health, which means that the population will expand much faster, as well as allowing me to recruit diplomats, which I can send to other nations to perform diplomacy missions, ask for alliances, trade deals, the like. Now, Total War, as you can guess by the name, is quite a bit about war. You can see each of these flags, and you probably are wondering, what the hell do the flags mean? Well, each flag indicates an army that I have. If it's sitting above a city, that means I have an army garrisoned in the city. For instance, in the city of Cordoba, we have our faction leader, Sultan Tahar, is at the head of an army featuring 2 units of archers and a unit of spear militia. Not a great army, I gotta say, but it works. Meanwhile, in Granada, we have just 1 unit of desert cavalry and desert archers. In Marrakesh, we have Crown Prince Mizwar, more archers and spears. Boy, this is not a great army arrangement. And over here we have Qasim, who has a sick-ass metal mask, I gotta say, as well as more cavalry, town militia, and archers. And there's only one army we've got that is not stationed in one of the towns, and it does not have a general. Generally speaking, you are going to want a general or a member of your royal family leading any armies, because if you don't, the armies might just rebel because they don't have anyone leading them and keeping them together. What we're going to do with our army under Captain Kairi, now you can tell it's under a captain instead of a lord or a general, is we're going to send them straight to Cordoba to meet up with our Sultan's army. And hang on, let me left click so it speeds up. There we go. Meanwhile, we have a spy, Hassan Saidi Seif. You know, I'm not entirely sure what to do with you. I don't think I've ever used spies in this game before, so we'll just have you look for extra cities. Yeah, he'll get along his merry way. The colored lines here indicate how many turns it's going to take. Within the next turn, they'll move the red line, then the next they'll move blue, then yellow, then purple, then blue, and so on. I don't know how many rainbow colors they have for that. Alright. So, let's see. If we're going to want to start taking Spanish lands, which I guess is what we're going to do, considering we don't even know what's going on in the rest of Africa, we're going to want to expand the army of Sultan Tahar. So, let's see. We have $7,000 at the given moment. And let's see. Our projected profit is $1,800 next turn. That means that when we buy new units, we want to make sure not to have an upkeep above $1,800 or else we'll start losing money per turn instead of gaining money. We prefer to be in the black. Now, for Sultan Tahar, we're going to want to start purchasing extra units. Let's see. Yikes, just spear and town militia. It's better than nothing. Let's see, which one's better? Generally speaking, the more expensive units are the better ones. Yeah, spear militia seems to be slightly superior, but only in that it has more soldiers. There are 150 men in a unit of spear militia. There are only 120 in a unit of town militia. We'll go ahead and recruit the town militia just for the sake of it, because it's helpful. Particularly considering once we have Sultan Tahar leave, we still want to leave some troops behind in Cordoba just to defend the place. And let's see. Cordoba's already a fairly hefty city. Let's see if we can invest in making any of the other cities stronger. Let's invest in Marrakesh, since Marrakesh is in a very safe place. Let's see. Now, there doesn't seem to be any prominent issues other than population growth. And income is pretty hefty, so let's see. Let's invest in farms. Yes, there we go. Land clearance. Increases food production. The more food we have, the more the population will grow. So, let's go ahead and spend the $600 to start work on a land clearance, which can eventually be upgraded into a farm, and then the further upgraded farm, which I think is like crop, something about crop flipping or something like that. Let's see. Oh, Algiers actually has a bowyer. Now, logically, you expect a bowyer to make bows. No, it makes javelins. Logic. Fuck it. Whatever. It does produce Sudanese javelin men, though, who are actually supposed to be alright. Let's see. And Algiers looks to be in an alright place. Hang on, let's see. What's its garrison? It's got hefty garrison. Alright, we'll go ahead and start investing in military stuff for them, partially just because we want to eventually use the army of Mr. Qasim here to invade the rest of Africa. And the recruitment possibilities at hand, let's see, Sudanese javelin men, Arab cavalry, desert cavalry, all pretty good. But I think we're going to want more. Let's see. Some better infantry. We need frontline infantry. Ooh, peasants are not great infantry, as you can imagine. Ooh. Alright, you know what? Let's invest in making this a slightly better town first. Let's see. So, we need land clearance because food production is not great here. And after we get land clearance to get a bigger population, then we'll look into investing in getting more unit production. And I guess we'll upgrade Granada since we're not doing anything else. What's the size of its... Ooh, its garrison is not great. Let's go ahead and invest in a... let's see. Hell, they don't really have squalor, so I guess we'll put in for a mustering hall first. So we can at the very least get peasants. Peasants are a pretty shit unit. I'd say they're actually the worst unit in the game. But it's better than nothing. If your castle is empty, that's generally a bad thing. So at the very least, if you can fill it with peasants, that's good. Alright, let's move our diplomat. To where, I do not know. Maybe we want to set up a deal with Portugal. That seems to be good. There we go. And who else have we got that's not moving? You, right, nope, you're moving. Alright, let's pass the turn then. Alright, Portugal is apparently taking its sweet-ass time on the turn counter here. So, the thing with Total War is that basically the best way to expand, the best way to make your nation better, is by attacking and killing others. Now, this varies a bit from game to game, how viable peace can be as a strategy. But, oh my god. Alright, either the Sultan or the Crown Princess had a son, or a daughter, I didn't notice which. Which is good. If they have a daughter, then princesses can perform diplomacy. If they have a son, then the son can eventually lead an army. Ooh, can we perform just diplomacy with this guy? Alright. Let's see. How about, let's see. Trade rights?
You truly have our best interests at heart. We accept.
Fantastic voice acting. I've got it set real quiet because you're kind of not a fan of it.
Another proposition?
Alright, let's see. What else do we want to... Let's see. Let's see. How about we trade map information?
No, we will not accept.
Oh, $640 in map information. Sure, I'll take it.
Magnificent. You have made us very happy. It would seem you are
There we go.
very reasonable.
That's just a little thing. I'd like to keep Portugal on our side, preferably, and trade is very, very nice. See, now we've set up a trade route going from this Moorish fishing village all the way up to a Portuguese port just outside of... I can't see the name of the Portuguese capital, but that doesn't matter. If I wasn't an idiot, I could remember the name of the Portuguese capital.
I serve the faith.
Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and start converting Spain.
At once.
Let's get you on the path to merging with the rest of the army.
The sun sets on today's journey.
Okay, he decided that little bit of distance is too much for him. Alright, let's order an extra town militia. And let's see. Merchants are always good because they can increase the amount of money you're making. Let's see, do we have any good resources here? This is iron, I think. Coal's good. Coal is good. We can send the merchant to take advantage of that. Alright, next turn. I believe everything's still working on construction. No, let's see. I think the land clearances have finished. And nope. What did I have worked on in Granada? The mustering hall, yes. We did want to put in more peasants here. So that they have at least some infantry. We're not going to invest too terribly in garrison there, because we don't want to have that kind of be a sink on our cash. Let's see, let's go ahead and put in a small masjid as well, just so we can start converting Granada. Alright. And is there anywhere else that's not producing something? Cordoba! We've got the spare cash. We can start building something in Cordoba. Do they need anything? Probably a bit of public order, yeah. Let's see. Council chambers. Increases public order and public health. Public health's pretty good, honestly. Let's see. Then let's see. A minaret masjid would help for converting the local population. Let's go ahead and do that. How much does it cost? 3,200. That's quite a hefty amount. Fuck it. We're not going to be building that much soon. It's going to be just a bit before I get to show off the battle mechanics of this game. But as you can see, the campaign map isn't really that complex. You want to build things and tell people to go things. You know, just generally be doing something. Don't waste time. twiddling your fingers. Now, I am terribly, well, I should note, for people who aren't into the Total War series, the variety of Total War games is pretty great. While they all similarly are going to be following kind of the same ideas, and what the fuck? They're, well, we're trading. They've sent a cardinal to try and convert my lands, and I've sent an imam to try and convert theirs. That's how it is, I guess.
Yes, Sultan.
Let's see. End of turn report, construction report, recruitment report, yada, 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 yada.
How may I serve, Sultan?
Let's see. Alright. Would you join the army already? Thank you. Alright. Let's get Sultan Tahar on the move. Let's see. Take everything except the town militia. Let's leave the town militia behind. Am I even at war with anybody? Currently no missions. Hang on. Let's see. I am at war with nobody. Okay. Everybody's at war with rebels. That's just a game mechanic. Let's see. So we need to capture Toledo and Jerusalem. Let's see. This army arrangement isn't great. You know, I'd like... before we move, let's go ahead and purchase an extra spear militia. And the truth be told, we should probably get... Let's see. What's our current... profits. Oh, 15. That's not bad at all. What we'll do is, let's see, how much would it cost to recruit? Yes, some Arab cavalry and desert cavalry. What's the difference? Arab cavalry... desert cavalry is skirmish, right? Okay. So, here's a vital thing. There are units of melee cavalry that are good at hitting really hard, really quickly. And then there's skirmish cavalry, which is good at running away and shooting at people backwards. In this case, the desert cavalry carry javelins and will huck them at nearby enemies. Meanwhile, the Arab cavalry has no such ranged move, but they're pretty good in melee. We're going to want both. We'll go ahead and hire them, and once they get built, we'll send them on over to Cordoba. And we'll pass the turn for now, I believe. Hang on. Oh, we haven't got the missionary, not missionary, diplomat on the move. What if we just send him to France? I think Paris is somewhere around here. Alright, you go handle it, Chief. Alright, let's see. We are at 2,300. I don't want to spend much more. But, let's see. How cheap would it... Communal farming, only 1080. Nah, hang on. Let's see. There's got to be a better place for it. Alright, communal farming, 1,200 florins. Could be better, could be worse. Alright, skip him, for the love of God. Go faster. Alright, let's see. And there's the cardinal. Yeah. I see. Is he going to try and convert Sultan Tahar? I think that's a game mechanic. And the princess is going to try and offer diplomacy with me? Odd. Alright. The council suggests we send an emissary to Spain for 500 florins. You know what? I'll go ahead and do that. Change of plans. Get on a move to Toledo.
I serve the faith.
Let's see. Let's go ahead and have a look around Toledo with old Imam... What's his name? Fakir. Fakir, okay. Excuse me? Excuse you? What'd you call me? Hang on. I'm making fun of names. The classy thing to do. Alright, let's send you boys on your way to Cordoba. And let's see. Do we want to recruit extra desert cavalry? Let's take a look at the... Oh, there's already a lot of desert cavalry. You don't want to have too much skirmish cavalry. Because past a certain point, it's like micromanagement hell. And it's genuinely impossible to pull off anything good with it unless you're like the king of micromanagement. Let's see. Let's purchase something in Marrakesh because I'm really banking on making it... Oh, nope. It's already building. Something in Cordoba then. Nope. It's still working on the Masjid. Grenada. Let's see. Or Granada. Excuse me. Land clearance is cheap. Screw it. Now, we want the population to grow, because once the population grows, it needs to hit a certain threshold before we can upgrade the central building, which is the castle or the town in the case of cities. Is Marrakesh a castle? It's not a castle. Okay, it's a town. That's good. Generally speaking, you want the cities along your border to be castles, and you want the cities that are inwards to be cities or towns. If it is listed as a castle, let's see, like this, wooden castle, that means it's a castle. Castles can't build as much infrastructure stuff, so they can't make as much money or get as much population growth, but they are much better defensive buildings. Meanwhile, you want walls, not castles, just walls, to indicate cities, and cities are much better at producing cash. In this case, I don't really want to invest the time to convert Cordoba into being a castle, so I probably just want to capture these frontier castles to cover for Cordoba's ass. Now I should know. Oh, Sultan Tahar is dead. That's unfortunate. Do we have anybody that can replace him? Let's see. Alright, new faction leader is Miswar. Miswar has... Yep, alright. Ayub has come of age. Sultan Tahar was fair in role right before he died. And we need to find Ayub, because I think Ayub is going to be our new leader here. Let's see. Nope, that's not where Ayub is. Where is Ayub? Oh, Ayub, Crown Prince Ayub. Alright, so Ayub must be Miswar's son. Ayub will temporarily take over leading the army. I don't really like putting members of the royal family on the front lines, because they're pretty valuable. But you gotta do what you gotta do. And we can go ahead and get another imam. I'll do it. Alright, and Cordoba's finished building the small masjid. Let's see, what if we go ahead and invest in paved roads? Well, public order was what we wanted. We could get shisha bars. How cheap are they? Only 800 florins, sure. Alright. And the army itself is just about ready to move. We don't have artillery, which means capturing the castle of Toledo is going to be a bit rough. Because artillery is one of the best siege tools. But we can at least, once we get to the city, get our army to put up ladders and siege towers and things. So that might be able to cut it. Let's see, yep, there is a Portuguese cardinal as well as a Spanish cardinal. That's unfortunate. I don't think I have any way of dealing with them other than simply sicking a spy on them. Because an imam cannot excommunicate a cardinal. Ooh, new family member. Alright, that'll be good later on down the line. Alright, I guess we'll go ahead and, just to keep things exciting, let's go ahead and send out Crown Prince Ayub. And let's remove the... Oh, shit. Alright, let's go ahead and... Oh, shit. I don't know what the game's doing here. Nope. Hang on. There we go. There we go, okay. Let's send these guys down to Toledo, so that something cool will at least happen on footage, and you guys get to see the battle map in play. I could certainly have a larger army, a safer army. Well, I could hire mercenaries. Let's see. Mercenary crossbowmen and spearmen. We do need more ranged units. But ranged units aren't terribly good for sieges. And the thing is, mercenaries are usually pretty expensive. They seem like they're of good quality, though. I'll bite the bullet. Alright, there we go. So now we've got some European mercenary spearmen as well. The mercenary system, by the way, is the only way that you can just outright buy units out in the field. Mercenaries, I think, are generally a little bit more expensive. But they're very convenient in a pinch, and more importantly, there are several units that are only accessible through mercenaries. Alright, let's go ahead and... Alright, how about trade rights, huh? Alright, now we're almost very immediately going to attack them. But for, like, the turn that we're at peace with them, we'll have a trade deal. Ooh, let's see. Ayub wants to adopt Alarbi Bulami. And I will do that because, of course I will. And the Council of Nobles says that they want at least 4 units to be stationed in Cordoba, and they will reward us with 500 florins. And I guess we'll go ahead and do that, because, I mean, they are a little bit right. Let's see, let's purchase some more town guards. And, let's see, let's get working on something to construct out here. Yeah, or the religion thing is going to be a little bit rough, because even though I did build a small Nausea, there are now 2 Catholic cardinals trying to convert the population, which is unfortunate. Let's see. What do we want to put in? Well, a port allows sea trade, which is quite nice. And it's pretty cheap. Let's go ahead and go for that, yeah. I don't even know where Cordoba can access the sea. I guess this region is coastal. And let's go ahead and save our cash otherwise. And let's get you... Alright. You're still converting the land to Islam. Let's get you on your way to France again. Yeah, you go along your merry way. And the Spanish are going to be pissed that I'm trespassing in their lands. Oh, there's a Spanish army here that I could just kill. It'd probably save me some trouble. Alright. And that'd actually be really good, because that's going to be an easy fight. It's just a general with 2 archers, a spearman, and presumably another spearman. No, the AI makes some weird army builds when it wants to. Let's see, let's get our spy. Let's see, there's Tunisia. Let's go ahead and... Well, that's a Sicilian army. We don't really have any issues with them. Let's keep him exploring. And other than that, is there anything we want to do? We're out of cash, so that's not... Can't build anything. Diplomat's on his way. The imam's working there. Let's see. We did... Oh, okay. The merchant and the imam are here. Let's get the imam out here so that he will start converting the land back to Islam, or at least counteract those guys. Let's send Ali of Cordoba to go harvest some coal. Well, I don't know. Maybe I should send him farther south. It's kind of dangerous having merchants along the frontier, because rival nations might actually just buy your businesses out. Well, yeah, let's go send him to sell iron. So you can plant a merchant on any of the resources on the map, like iron here or coal here, and they will harvest that resource for cash, and that cash will be even significantly more so if you have a lot of trade deals with other nations. This is more important for certain nations that are in really good positions to trade, like Venice, but still the Moors can make pretty good use of it. If I set up lots of trade deals with France, especially. Alright, let's go ahead and pass the turn. Well, let's check our upkeep first. Alright, we are losing $900 this turn. That's okay. Yep, and the Portuguese and Spanish cardinals, they're all just kind of standing there staring at each other. Is this how religious debates actually happen in real life? Have I been misinformed? Do people just stare at each other and they just hope to intimidate each other into converting? Alright, let's send the spy down to check out here. There's a lot of empty land out here. Yeah, so this land is Sicilian. That's kind of unfortunate that Sicily was able to claim Tunisia before I was, but hey, I'll just invade Sicily at some point. That seems good. And now that we've moved our spy, let's see, yeah, other than that, there's nothing left for me to do. So let's go ahead and pick a fight with the Spanish. Alright, we are now at war with the Spanish. And that army is walking backwards because they are too intimidated by the sheer big dick energy of Prince Ayub. Bring it on. Alright, so here we finally get to show off the battle map. Let's go ahead and hit that shit. we're gonna go into a loading screen. The loading screens in Medieval Total War 2 are actually pretty short compared to Warhammer 2, where they can last a fucking year. Though I believe they're fixing that in the next update. Fine a fucking Lee. Alright. Now, one neat thing about Medieval Total War 2 is that if you sit on the pre-deployment screen for a bit, I believe the general will give a speech.
I am sorry, my brothers. Truly, I had hoped our foes would be more worthy of your swords.
Alright. I don't think the speech is going to keep going. Sometimes the speech is quite short, sometimes the speech goes on forever and ever. Alright, let's see. What's our army arrangement here? I already forget. Let's see. We've got archers, who are in the front because generally you want them to shoot first. We got spears. Spears and more spears, yes. Alright, we've got the Arab cavalry, who are going to be our knights equivalent. They're just going to directly slam into people's asses and fuck them up. We've got the general and his bodyguard, who are caked in armor. I think those are cataphracts. But we don't really want to send him into battle, because if Crown Prince Ayub dies, well, fuck. Meanwhile, we've got the desert cavalry here on the flanks, because we're not going to be using them to directly attack on the front. We want them to flank and throw spears up people's asses while they're busy fighting our frontline guys. This is already a pretty good army arrangement. I prefer to keep my cavalry on the flank, so we'll move the Arab cavalry here. Move the general up a little bit, so he's a little closer to his troops. Alright, now, here's a neat thing about Total War. If I mouse over all the units, and then I click this button, the units are all grouped into Group 1. And I can do the same thing for these guys. Hang on. They are Group 2, and that last guy over there is now... I can't set him to be Group 3. That's a thing they added later. In later Total Wars, you can set individual units to be their own groups, so that you can easily use the number keys as hotkeys to easily click on them. Alright, now this fight's going to be pitifully easy. Hang on. Alright. Now, hang on. Are all my units running? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Right. Oh, for fuck's sakes. My mouse has been having this odd bug lately where it double clicks constantly. Even if I didn't actually double click. And this is growing to be a problem because it's caused my units to run without my consent because you double click to get them to run. Okay, whatever. Whatever, I can live with it. Alright. And let's see, yeah, now that I've told everyone to attack, the archers are going to start flinging their arrows, and it's just become a massive cuddle puddle. Where the hell is the general? Alright, you stop. You don't charge into battle, that's not what you do. Alright, the desert cavalry is just going to come in close and start hucking spears at people. Yeah, this is already a massacre. They don't even know what to do. Now, if we can kill the general, that'd be sweet. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get the archers all to focus fire on the general if we can. Just tell the general to sit still. And boy, the general's just gonna get fucked here. This is gonna be sad. Yeah, this is gonna be a big old cuddle puddle on the general. And none of the guys are flanking. You don't really want the army to, your units to kind of double up here. There's no real point to it. They can't really help if they're stuck up their teammates' asses. Rather, if you have multiple melee units that are engaging a singular melee unit, what you want them to do is run around the back and flank. Alright, let's see. Yep, alright. It's all going pretty well. Nope, their general is dead. Goodbye. I want to say that was Vasco da Gama. Yeah, not gonna get quite the legacy he did in the real world. Alright, the archers, I don't even know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah, most of their army is now fleeing, Go ahead and send them to snatch up the remainders. Get our desert cavalry to run them down. I guess we'll send in the general now, because the fight's already won. Alright, there we go. Quick and easy victory, like I said. You probably couldn't even tell what was happening there. I wasn't able to properly explain it, because in my complete idiocy, I focused on elite pro MLG plays, despite the fact that it was the easiest victory ever. But yeah, I won the fight, and when in Total War, when you win the fight, you can either choose to end the battle, and that's it, or you can choose to commit a war crime. For now, we're going to take the choice that is less strategic, but I don't feel like being a bad person. At least not on recording. Yeah, I think I just killed Vasco da Gama. Well, that's it for the Reconquista. Okay. That guy's arm looks fucked up. Alright, so we have captured, let's see, a whole load of people. We can choose to ransom them for cash. We can release them, which will make the other guy make Spain like us a lot more, or we can kill them. Let's, I like money. Let's ransom them. Alright. Now, their army is going to try and pull back. Since we did ransom them, that means they did get back the units we captured, which is unfortunate for us, but it is what it is. How far is this guy going to walk back? He's going to walk all the way back into Toledo. That's kind of amusing. I've not seen that happen before. Whatever. Alright. Our relations with Spain are now abysmal, and our relations with the Papal States are now poor. Also, we're at war now. Surprise, surprise. Alright. And meanwhile, Crown Prince Ayub has gained the trait Fair Fighter, because we chose to end the battle rather than just slaughter them. Their chivalry is increased. Oops, I don't get to see the other trait he picked up, but whatever, it probably doesn't matter that much. Let's see, we lost almost no troops, so replenishment isn't going to be much of an issue. We can construct a fort for 500 gold. And we can go ahead and do that and hold the bridge. Alright, building a fort for 500 gold. Forts are pretty good. Forts are a way that you can have just units stationed out in the field and they won't cost as much, I believe. Though the fort may need more construction than this. I'm not entirely sure. I know I've seen in the Ireland campaign, in the Britannia expansion, that you can set up forts out in the field that will allow you to station units in the field without having to pay as much upkeep. It'll allow you to keep a variety of free units that you don't have to pay for. Let's see, and we've got 35,000. Let's go ahead and build something in Marrakech. Let's see. What do they need? They don't really need anything. Let's go ahead and invest in more farming then. And there goes all the money we made from that battle. Alright, the Portuguese have sent a... Oh no, that's my merchant, okay. I assumed he was Portuguese because he's wearing blue. The Total War series is very big on faction coloring. And there's a Spanish princess trying to marry into the Portuguese royal family. Oh, shit. So, one thing I want to explain while we're in between turns and I'm not really doing anything. Typically, a army in Total War, or at least Total War Medieval 2... Oh, cool. Noor Ayub has a potential bride. We'll go ahead and take it, yeah. Typically, when you build an army, let's go ahead and look at our army here. You want a fair balance of units for the most part. There are some units that you're okay spamming. Like, you can generally spam melee units. Melee frontline units. Melee frontline units aren't really as good at killing as they are at not getting killed. But eventually they can hold out the battle long enough. It's just a slow fight. Generally speaking, the ranged units and the cavalry are going to do the majority of your killing. In this case, let's see. We do not have as many archers as I would like. We've only got 4 units of them, but we've got 4 units of spearmen, so I guess it kind of evens out. 6 units with the mercenary Spanish spearmen, right? Generally, you're going to want a fair balance of melee units and ranged units so that the melee units can protect the ranged units while the ranged units do all the damage. Cavalry doesn't really need to be protected, though it can be helpful to have military units have melee units pin down other units so that cavalry can hit them. Cavalry is great at the first initial charge, slamming into foes. Generally, they'll do a lot of damage on the initial hit. Where they kind of suffer is that in prolonged combat, if they do not get in and get out, if they don't do hit and run combat, they tend to take a bit more damage. Excuse me. And that's just for melee cavalry. Skirmish cavalry, like desert cavalry, you don't want to even get in melee in the first place. You want them to go and flank people and throw spears at their backs, and hopefully distract them from any real threats. So basically you want a front line of melee guys, a back line of ranged guys, presumably put your general in the back line in Medieval 2, though that could be a different story in some other games. And you want cavalry on the flanks, both skirmish and melee cavalry, so that they can hit in the rear. And that's kind of the ideal strategy. Now, of course, once we add artillery, artillery is like ranged units, but more ranged units here. They hit harder, but they also suck more in melee. Because it's really 6 guys manning a catapult won't be able to take on a melee unit nearly as well as 120 guys with bows and knives. Even though you still don't want the archers to go into melee, obviously. Let's see. Alright, we cannot recruit any mercenaries while we're in the fort. That's good to know. But that does provide somewhat of a defensive position if the guys out of Toledo decide to mount an attack. Now, let's see. If we wanted to, we could start sending spear militias over from Cordoba. We're out of cash, though, so at the moment that's not really an option. I guess we'll have the army sit in the fort for a bit. I could have swore you could upgrade the fort to where it will cover for some income. Yeah. Alright, can we purchase extra merchants? No, we are at the limit for merchants. Every grain exchange and market building we build allows us to recruit an extra merchant, but it's limited by the amount of those buildings we have. Same for imams, we require more masjids. For diplomats, we require more town halls. And for spies, we require more bars. Alright, we'll go ahead and let's see. Don't think I've got anyone doing anything. Yeah, I guess we'll pass the turn for now, because hang on, let's get you on the move. Figure out what's down here. Go continue the scouting mission, Mr. Hassan Saidi Saif, something like that. Sorry if you actually know how to pronounce Arabic words, I'm probably mincing them. That's what I do as an American, it's my specialty. Alright, we've got a merchant on the iron. Wonderful. He'll start producing cash, particularly from the trade ships that are going out of Marrakech into Portugal. Now, hopefully Spain's not sitting on an extra army that they're just planning to flank me with and hit Cordoba while the rest of my army is out. It's end of turn report. Let's see. Oh, I still haven't got at least 4 units in Cordoba. I could have swore that's 4 units, but whatever. We'll send in more town militia. And that will hopefully get me 500 gold. A rebel army has appeared. It is Martin de Vigo and 3 units we don't even know. I don't really care. We could kill him for the money. But I mean, doesn't really matter. Let's keep this guy along his merry way. Alright, we have found Tripoli. That's nice. And for cash, we are slowly turning out minus 35 per turn. That's a bit unfortunate. Is there any particular place where we can lose a bit of cash? I wonder. Doesn't look like there is. Alright, well, in that case, hang on. I guess we'll go ahead and attack these rebels just to make a fair bit of cash. Alright, he's gonna pull back. We'll attack him anyways. Alright, now the great thing about Total War is you don't have to fight every individual battle. So, we're going to automatically resolve this, or in later games as is known, auto-resolve. Can we attempt a night attack? The commanding officer cannot lead night attacks. Ayub does not understand the concept of night. Alright, clear victory. We lost 188 men, they lost 133. This is the issue with auto-resolve. Auto-resolve is sometimes kind of dickish in the late game. Well, not in the late game, but with stronger armies facing off against smaller armies, auto-resolve can be kind of dickish and cause you to take losses that you logically shouldn't have. And the really bad thing is that it tends to hit your archers first for some fucking reason. Auto-resolve, for whatever reason, assumes that the purpose of archers is to charge directly into battle. And that didn't actually make us any money. Huh. But we got a shield bearer, which is -1 morale for all troops on the battlefield, +2 to your general's hit points. That's not great, actually. Unfortunate. Alright, well. Alright. Just keep the spy checking along. But, as you can see, the Total War games, they can seem complex at first, that's for certain. But they're realistically not that much. The battles can perhaps take a bit getting used to for some people. But I think once you start really figuring it out, war declared. The Byzantine Empire's declared war on Venice, unsurprisingly. Our relations with Sicily have worsened. I don't care, I'll invade them eventually anyways. But the battle map, it's pretty simple once you figure out, like, just, you know, melee in the front, range in the back, and so on. And there are just certain types of units that are better at fighting certain other types of units. Typically, if you want to take out cavalry, you send in spears, or pikemen, or halberdiers. Anything that's long stick weapon, that's what you want. And if you want to take out infantry, melee infantry, typically you need bows. Though shields can protect against bows. But javelins can go right through a shield. And cavalry is great at taking out infantry, except for spear infantry, unless they hit them in the ass. But you just kind of learn things over the course of the game. And just become a bit better and better and better. Alright, sieging! Total War spends a lot of time sieging. Sieging castles, trying to kill them. Let's see, this element has enough food to last 9 turns, and it's a pretty hefty castle to begin with. We're going to want to try and attack this place as quickly as possible, because we know there are Spanish armies running out and about. So what we want to do is, let's see. Our army has 204 build points. Now, we're just going to build a fuck ton of ladders, so that our guys can get on the walls. And let's see. Can I throw in a battering ram? No, because we've already filled up the construction queue. Alright. Now let's throw in a battering ram. Yes. The battering ram could be quite nice for getting our cavalry in. Our cavalry isn't... I guess the cavalry is fairly important. Alright. Now we will maintain the siege. Now, to prevent this video from going over an hour, I'm going to go ahead and stop here. But regardless, if anyone's like confused about something about the Total War series, I know I'm not the biggest Total War pro, and I can't entirely advise on everything, and I'm still fairly new to most of the historical Total Wars. Medieval 2 is the one I've got the most experience with, and I still don't know a lot of it. Like, I don't understand how trade works. But nonetheless, I think it's important to be inclusive regarding these things, and I'm always happy to see more people try the series. It's a fantastic series that doesn't get enough play outside of its own, sometimes insular community. So, if anyone's got any questions, I would love to answer them. Just post them in the comments. And I believe the next episode or two will probably also be in the same session as this one. So, if you do pose a question in the comments, I don't know that I'll be able to instantly answer it. But I will try to answer what questions I see. Like I said, I'm not a pro at this game. I'm just a, not casual gamer. I'm somewhere on the line between hardcore and casual gamer. who really enjoys these games. And I will see you later, folks.